Welcome back to Bloom. We all want our pets to live longer, and that has many pet parents rethinking how to care for their fur babies and looking for more natural ways to care for their animals. Joining us now is renowned holistic veterinarian Dr. Judy Morgan. Dr. Morgan, what an honor it is to have you on Bloom. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for the invitation. Anytime I can spread the message for good health for our pets, I am thrilled. And
people want to hear about good health, and let me tell you, this is the woman to listen to. I need to say congratulations on winning 2023's People's Choice Award.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. And so welcome. I mean, people follow so closely to everything that you have to say. And I think the number one message that pet owners need to hear is that we really need to be careful about what we're feeding our pets.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, a lot of money goes into advertising, and I wish that as much money as goes into advertising actually went into what goes into the food that we're feeding our pets. So there's been a lot of misconceptions, but basically the large pet food companies that are making the most common kibbles are owned by human food manufacturers who are using pet food for the waste products for the pet food. And that's not what I want my pets to eat. I want my pets to have a long, healthy life. And in order to do that, we need to feed them human-grade ingredients, not waste products, not things that have been discarded from the human chain because they're not edible. So that's kind of the first thing to start. That's our foundation. Food is the foundation of life. And without a good foundation, we can't build a strong house. And in order to get that health and longevity, we need to be looking for things that are going to really support them.
You know, and I think too, as humans, because we're talking like feeding our pets, which you would eat as a human, you know, when I feed my family, I'm looking for no pesticides, no hormones. I'm really going out of my way. I cook home nearly every night so I can have some control over what I'm feeding our family. And we need to think about that when it comes to our pets as well.
Absolutely, because there are ingredients in pet food that have been banned in the human food industry. The red and yellow dyes are used in pet food. Your dog really doesn't care what color the food is. They just want to know what it tastes like. Preservatives that are carcinogenic, BHA, BHT, ethoxyquin, are still allowed to be used in pet food, but they've been banned from many of the human food markets. If we're using a food that is extruded kibble that has a rendered meat meal in it, there's a good chance it contains euthanasia solution. We are feeding, yes, we are feeding our pets low levels of euthanasia solution, and then we wonder why they're not thriving, why their liver enzymes are elevated, why they're developing chronic inflammatory diseases. The good news is that I know people get really upset when I give them all the bad news, so I need to give good news to cure that problem. There are a lot of pet food companies that have come online in the last 5 to 10 years that are using only human-grade ingredients, that are providing either raw or gently cooked foods that are made from the same ingredients that you would cook with. And many of them are organic and very clean, non-GMO, really, really nice products on the market.
So good to hear. Another alarming statistic is the shortage of qualified veterinarians out there. I mean, that's alarming. I mean, all the more reason to think about preventative care.
Absolutely. The prediction right now is that by 2030, there will be about a 30% shortage of veterinarians in this country. So that means 1/3 of the pet parents who need care, and it might even be emergent care, are not going to have a veterinarian available to treat their pet. That is really, really scary. So one of the things that I promote and why we provide so much educational material to pet parents is that we want you to be able to troubleshoot at home, and we want you to be able to avoid the problems that might land you in the emergency room with your pet.
You and I were talking before this segment, and I need to get my dog off kibble and onto one of your recommended foods. And is it true that if you get on the right food, your dog has, or cat, or whatever animal you love, has a much better chance of living a longer life?
Absolutely. So I've been doing, my husband and I have done dog and cat rescue for about 18 years. And we have gotten a lot of our dogs, we rescue most spaniels, so Cavalier King Charles Spaniels, Cocker Spaniels, English Toy Spaniels. Most of ours have come from puppy mills or abuse and neglect situations. So they're coming in with really poor diet, tons of medical problems. And our dogs are living to be 18 and 19 years old, even though they got off to such a rough start. So some of these, we adopted one dog at 14, and he came with every problem under the sun. He was blind, he was deaf, he had infections everywhere, he had parasites. We ended up getting his sight back, couldn't get his hearing back, cured all of his infections, and he lived to 18.
Wow.
So what a wonderful way to honor that soul and give him that last stretch of his life as the most beautiful stretch of his life.
Oh, that is so beautiful, because that was going to be my next question. You know, 5-year-old Marble, my sweet little puppy that I adore, like we all adore our pets. But I was wondering, because I have been maybe feeding her food that I thought was really good for her, that I sourced. I thought, yeah, I did all the research, not realizing until I spoke to you about the human side of it. So it's good to know that if I make the change, I can extend her little life.
Absolutely. It is never too late to make the change. And for people who are really afraid to make that big leap into raw or gently cooked or making their own food, because we do have to make sure, if we're making food for our pets, that we're including the vitamins and minerals that they need, because it's a little bit different from what we need. But it can be done. It's really possible. But even if you can't do that and you just say, look, I have to feed kibble for whatever reason, there have been great studies that show if you replace even 25% of that kibble,
you're good,
with fresh food, you will extend their life by 2 to 3 years.
I love it. All right, Dr. Judy, what a privilege it is to have you. And we're going to share this story on our website.